off this Tuesday with the second story in our Back to School series, Classroom Challenges, focusing on teacher retention.
That's right. Our Alexis Green joins us live in studios with a deep dive into why there's been such a continual, steady decline in educators and what is driving them away from something they love. Lexis.
Good morning, John Thomas and Barbie. Walking away from your calling is no easy feat, but it's becoming increasingly more common. What's behind it? Well, teachers across the state are saying the largest reason comes down to competitive pay to match the expectations of them in the classroom. I sat down with a teacher who said it just became unrealistic, and she hopes her testimony helps other educators not feel so alone. We sat down with Veronica Hernandez, who taught in the CCISD for 24 years, fifth graders having a special place in her heart. And even though she made the decision to retire in 2023, she says the wound is still fresh.
The stress and the workload became very overly daunting. And also maybe, the lack of pay, not having competitive pay.
She explained that technically she did hit the rule of 80, which means she met the requirements to retire, but she says that's not what led to her decision to turn her classroom light off.
Well, there's a concern because in CCISD alone, there were over 400 vacancies the entire year.
Dr. Nancy Vera with the Teachers Union has one burning question when it comes to keeping teachers in the classroom.
Is why? Or do they not want to hire because of the shortfall of money from the state? They're not paying the teachers certainly enough, or the custodians, or the bus drivers, or even the paraprofessionals.
Hernandez said oftentimes she felt she didn't have the resources or frankly enough time in the day.
Classroom teach time, you're very limited. So when you start the morning, you hit the ground running because there is no time to waste.
At one point in her career, this educator had 28 fifth graders in her room. Problems only got worse. One year, she was assaulted by a student she says should have been in a behavioral unit classroom.
And I never saw that coming. I never in a million years thought that I would have a student literally physically hit me.
And she's not the only teacher to have a similar story.
But if we had incentive pay, perhaps you could attract that personnel.
What ended up causing her burnout was the emphasis on standardized testing.
Because that's what I got into teaching for, to instill a love of learning. When you have to kind of drill to be ready for that test.
Which ended up leading to her decision to focus on her health and ultimately retire. As for Dr. Vera, she predicts teacher retention will continue to decline.
I think that teachers are being more mobile. They're moving from location to location, trying to get the best pay they can get to help support their families.
A survey on teacher shortages revealed that stress due to feeling unsafe and a lack of supportive work environment was a big factor. More than 30% of educators reported one or more threats of violence or verbal harassment from students, and more than 40% of administrators said the same of parents. Hernandez did share some advice for newbie teachers out there. She says, love your kiddos because that's what you got into all this for, and to look out for yourself by finding a veteran and let them take you under their wing. Hernandez says support is everything.
Thank you, Alexis. With the sheer number of students returning to class this week across